Hey there, welcome back. Today I am talking with one of our amazing Powerhouse clients, Nicki Krawczyk. Nicki is actually a copywriting expert, and you've heard of her before with maybe not even realizing you've heard of her. Nicki has written a lot of our copy, and she even wrote our mission statement that you hear on the podcast of like, we help small business powerhouses get more customers in the door, more profit in their pocket, more happiness in their home. Nicki is the one that took my crazy words. And I'm like, this is what I do, I think. And then she made them sound amazing. So I love talking to Nicki. She has a wealth of knowledge. Hopefully you've gotten to hear her speak at our event that we just had in October. Now, I talked with Nicki specifically about her systems that she has in place that really helped her launch a business even after years of struggle. Like, I love Nicki's story because she's super successful right now, but it took a little bit of time, and you're going to hear that. I also love the way that Nicki has set up her business with automation, automating sales. She, like, just the system she has in place, we're going to talk about having a predictable income because it's automated. She can see those numbers. We'll talk about some copywriting mistakes. I couldn't not interview a copywriter and ask her some copywriting things. So we're talking about that. And then we'll talk about her journey through trial and error and finding out what works and what consistently brings in profit. She 40x'd her business. 40x'd her business in a very, very short period of time. However, there was a lot of work she did in the beginning to get her going. And I think when you hear the story, you are going to be inspired and you are going to be, I think, like reassured, like you are exactly where you need to be. And would you wait a little bit longer if you knew like this big thing was coming? That is Nicki's story to a T. So excited to introduce you to Nicki. If you've never met her before, enjoy today's episode. Nicki, welcome. So excited to dive into today's conversation.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So, Nicki, I would love for you to share a little bit of your background. So I want people to hear how you started with entrepreneurship and then like what the journey has led to.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah. So I am a copywriter first and foremost, and I've been a copywriter for 20 years, working for big companies, Marshalls, Keurig, AT&T.
Stacy Tushel.
I was about to say yes, which is actually how you and I met. I was your copywriter for a while, and love copywriting. And about 10 years ago, I decided to create a course to teach people to become professional copywriters, since entrepreneurs know there is a whole lot of need for skilled copywriters. So I have built up that business. This is our 10th year in business.
Wow.
Crazy. But it's been a wild ride. And then of course too, we've added additional brands and then just growth. It's fun.
Yes, really. Now you have a very successful business. You've got an automated, like we're going to get all into that.
Yeah.
But I want people to hear how long it took you. I want people to hear that because they're going to hear your story and be like, oh, I could never be Nicki. And I want people to know what that journey was like. And we'll kind of get into like when it started to really take off, because that kind of leads into today's topic.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you have ever sat at home and looked at your conversions and thought, why is nothing working? Why aren't people buying from me? Then yes, you too can be Nicki. Because for basically the first 6 years of my business, 7 years of my business, that's exactly where I was. I was trying all kinds of different stuff. And I will absolutely admit that when I was first getting started, I kind of thought that if I just had a really good product and put it out into the world, that people would buy it. Turns out that's not the case. So it has been a long ride to get to the point where we're now consistently making a ton of sales and we're able to keep growing the business.
Now, today you have a 7-figure business. Those first 6 years, can you share like roughly where you were at or what that looked like?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, the biggest year I had before I figured out my system, I put my system in place. So the biggest year pre-system was $40,000 in 2018. And I think before that, it was maybe like 25,000 or that kind of thing, which is, I'm not at all saying that that's a bad thing by any means. But I remember when it was like, oh, if I could just get 10 sales this month,
Yeah.
and now I'm looking at our numbers. I'm like, wait, why didn't we get 10 sales today? What's the problem here?
Right. Yeah. So, and it's so funny to forget sometimes where you were and how like you can be sometimes ungrateful for like, you're right. We had 9 sales today. What in the world? Like, it's like, oh, wow. Like it's a different story. Now, here's what I really admire is I coach a lot of people who, when they're getting started, they're like, why is this taking so long? I feel like I should be further along. Did you have that conversation with yourself those first 6 years? Like, where was your mindset at?
I think, I know exactly where my mindset was. It was the product was good.
Mm.
Like I knew that the course was really good. And thankfully, one of the first people that purchased many, many years ago, wrote to me and said, hey, I just wanted to send you a thank you. I bought your course and I was doing something else and I lost my job and I was able to use your course to get, a full-time freelancing copywriting work at this huge agency.
Wow.
And so so listen to your customers. Okay. When they say the good things, save them, put them in a file for those days that you need them, because we all need them. But I knew that it worked and I knew that it was valuable. So what I had to do was to figure out how to get it out to them, how to share it, how to message it, and how to make a system so that people could purchase it and then take advantage of it.
Yeah. So what I want people to hear is the belief in the product was so high that even though you weren't making the kind of money you wanted to be making, it kept you holding on.
Yes.
Because I think there's a lot of people that are not going to wait 6 years and still be making only 40,000 a year on a good year, right? There's a lot of people that are giving up, but you so strongly believed in your product that this is why you can sit here today and say, I have a 7-figure business, but so many people quit before that happened. So that's interesting. Okay. So tell me from that high, that peak 6 years in, right? What happened? When did things take off for you? And what did that look like? And why all of a sudden year 7 or whatever year that was, did things start happening?
Yeah. It was a culmination of spending all of those years of learning and watching how other people were selling and looking at the way people were reacting to what we were putting out there. And also, fundamentally, being kind of a lazy entrepreneur. And I kind of laugh at this because it's in one way, you know me, Stacey, you know that I'm constantly working. I'm not really lazy. But I also have no poker face. So, when you and I would be on calls and people are talking about like, oh, I spent so much time in my free Facebook group. And I would just get this look on my face like, oh my God, that sounds awful, cringing. I didn't want to do like all the other stuff. I just wanted to, and I didn't also want to be constantly stressed out about launching or constantly worried about, well, this month has to be really, really good because we're not launching again for 6 more months. So if this one
you've seen that, you've seen people that need this month to be good. It is a make or break month for them. And that's scary.
Yeah. It's gambling your revenue on like maybe once or twice per year. And yes, exactly. I mean, over the past couple of years, the world's been so unpredictable. We've seen entrepreneurs who are like, yep, I'm launching in this month. And then the world goes chaotic.
Yes.
And you just sit back and go, oh man, I hope you had savings set aside.
Right. Yeah.
I never wanted to be in a place where like, even just now thinking about the employees I have and the contractors that like thinking about gambling our revenue on that is petrifying to me. I wanted it to be consistent and I wanted there to be sales every day. And I wanted to have a very predictable income in a way that a lot of course creators and a lot of coaches and a lot of just digital entrepreneurs are not seeing.
Yeah. Well, and how many years ago was this that you started doing it this way?
It was the end of 2018.
Which really, I feel like is very early when people were still heavy into you must launch, you must do this. So I kind of just want to keep, I always say like success leaves clues. So let's just really look at this here. So Nicki had belief in her product. She was very clear on what she didn't want, right? So those are big things that I think got her the place that she needed to go. Okay. So you know what you don't want. So you turn to an automated way of selling, a consistent way of selling. Can you explain that a little bit? And
Yeah.
I'd love to hear what it looked like in 2018 and how it's evolved today.
Oh my gosh. I think 2018, it was like, I don't know, sign up for my emails. And at some point, maybe I'll send you a sales email and then hopefully you'll like it.
Right.
And basically what I did was at the end of 2018, I kind of sat down and looked at all of the ways that we were messaging people and the way we were talking to people and the way that everyone kind of in the industry is talking to people. What a lot of business owners tend to do is like get people on the list and then make them wait to buy something. And the problem is people are most excited about you, about the potential solution, about the potential transformation, like in the instant when they sign up for that list. That is when they're most excited. And what most people do is they're like, oh my gosh, it's so great. Get on the list. I'm going to nurture you for a week or two, and then I'm going to give you something else. But you're not going to get a chance to buy for 3 more months,
right.
you know? And by 3 months, most people's excitement isn't there anymore.
Right.
And, or if they needed a solution on the day that they signed up for your email and they're not going to get that solution for months and months, guess what? They're going to go find that solution from somebody else, you know? And it could be that they're so excited by your marketing message and the potential that they're like, this is awesome. I'm going to go sign up for somebody else.
Completely.
Yes. Your marketing message could get them to buy somebody else's product. So one of the first things that I wanted to do was to have that excitement of a launch. Don't get me wrong. It's exciting for people on the list, but I wanted to have that almost instantly. And so I created a system that kind of quickly nurtures people, but also very quickly gets them in that, primes them to be ready to purchase. Okay. But also still does allow them for a little bit of time to think about it, you know? So there's so many marketing systems that are on our schedules, right? Not on our potential client schedule, customer 100%, schedule, but on our, even like the webinars. I mean, how many times have you signed up for a webinar and been like, oh, this is really interesting. Yeah. Okay. 6 p.m. tonight. I'm pretty sure I can do that. Absolutely. And then like life happens. How adorable that we're like, oh, 6 p.m. Totally. I'll definitely be able to do that. Like, I know your kids are running around at 6 p.m. I'm starving at 6 p.m. And I want to watch Netflix. Yeah. But, you know, and so you get to that point and you can't watch it anymore. Yeah. And then we don't send it a replay because they've been told that you have to be on the call live to be qualified. And it's these two opposing forces. And we're just not giving people what they want when they want it. We need to make it easier for them to buy our awesome services. So give them this opportunity up front, and again, on their schedule, give them a little bit of time to think about it and a lot of incentive to purchase. And then if they don't purchase in that period, there's some nurturing and there's a longer sales period after that. But I know too that a lot of people are like, oh, well, they didn't buy. Okay, that's it. No. Like I run ads. I paid to get those people on that list. So the way our system works is once you're in, we call it our circuit because it powers our business. It's a closed circuit. Once you're in, you're going to keep going through it. But after a certain period of time, the enrollment starts up again and it has that feeling of a live launch, but it's all automated. I'm not touching anything. And, you know, we've tested out building in some other automated fun challenges and all that kind of thing. But it's for a quote unquote lazy entrepreneur. It's exactly what I want because I built it once and I built it really well, and we can layer some stuff on it and be flexible with it, but it does the work. And it does it really, really well. Yeah.
Oh, so good. So I want to go back to a concept you talked about of you could be having such good marketing that could be selling your competitor's product. I fully believe that when somebody has like to scratch an itch, they are not waiting. They are going to take the first person that is available, right? Sometimes we are getting clients by default, even in my studio, like when we have like in our business, like it's seasonal. So like registration closes. we had to create products just during that time because we knew, well, what if our competitor is open longer than us and they take them? Like we can't, I mean, once you start with somebody, you stay with them, right? If the service is great. So by default, I could be losing people if I said, no, sorry, not right now. So to me, I believe every type of business always needs something for sale today. And I believe you should be able to sell 24/7, not all of your products, but at least something. And I love with this circuit, this idea that you have, you're getting both of those problems, right? Because now we can sell something 24/7, right? And we can get people in, whether it's even just getting them into our system to see what could we offer them or what could we do. So I love this so much. So this, what is it? What are you calling this?
It's the circuit sales system.
Okay. Which is a perfect name for it, because this is where you have to start to think, how can I at least have the potential to make money every day? So back in the day, Nicki was trying to make money every day, but maybe it wasn't happening, right? Yeah. Now it does happen. But now it does. So you can't even make money every day until you have the potential to make money every day. So you've got to at least start there by saying, what could we sell on a daily basis? What could we get people into our funnel, right? And then from there, you started to dial it in, refine it. And I remember like some of your peak numbers of knowing like how many units you were selling per day. Like it was crazy. And I have not seen a lot of people doing this. And I'll tell you, I know we have a mix of brick and mortar and online people, but all of these fundamentals make sense for both types of industries. But I will tell you, a lot of online business owners right now are struggling. Like I have actually publicly seen people close their businesses, people over 7 figures a year. One person I saw was over 40 million a year and literally publicly said, we can no longer do this, right? And this is where it's starting to get a little scary. And you need to really ask yourself, like, whatever I'm doing now, if it's not working, trying to rinse and repeat what's not working is not working. Sometimes you've got to switch it up, try something different, right? So I'm super excited because I know, Nicki, you're coming out with this program. We are going to be one of the first people to sign up because I want to learn how to be able to have this on demand, right? And I'm even trying to figure out, we have it really easily set for our online business, but I want to figure out how I can do something like this for a mom who's checking out our studios, maybe checking out other few places. Like I know, so I'm actually thinking I might be able to use a strategy for both businesses because I mean, sometimes it's a mom Friday night at 9 p.m. She's not calling our business and we're not open, but if she could watch an informational video that has all of the details and the frequently asked questions and a tour right on that video, like my mind was starting to go, this is it. This is that automated sequence that nobody in my industry would be doing, right? Yeah. So, okay, so fill us in more to, like, I know you're saying lazy entrepreneur and you joke and you say that about yourself, but I think a lot of people, whether they identify as like the lazy entrepreneur, they do identify as somebody who doesn't want to hustle anymore.
Yes.
Like, let's talk about that. So let's talk about what it means to have predictable income and just things you've learned about being able to have it and the security you feel and all the things.
Yeah. I mean, predictable. I theoretically, I know, but, it's very hard for me to wrap my mind around trying to build a business and to bring on team members and to implement systems and all that kind of thing. If you don't know what money is going to be coming in, I get that, I mean, and let's be honest, I'm a human like all of us. And like all of us, you're like, no, before I bring on that next person, I have to make more money. And you have to bring on that next person in order to make more money. But when you don't know what your income is going to be, it's so much harder to budget for that essential person who's going to take something off of your plate so that you can focus on something else. And then that next essential person. So it makes it so much easier to figure out what you can spend on team building, what you can spend on software, what you can spend on, all of the, basically the systems that you teach in well-oiled operations. The two things work together so well because you need the back end, you need the well-oiled operations, but it's very hard, or not very hard, but it can be very hard to plan for those kinds of things if you don't have consistent money coming in, something that you can bank on.
Yeah.
And just even in terms of the way we spend our energy, there's so many people who are giving so much to people who have not paid them yet, like my free Facebook group and my free challenge and or even like my $7 challenge or my this, like, when you really think about it, the people who should be getting the best of us are the people who've paid for it. Those are the people that we should be giving the free stuff to, or the challenges, and not that we don't also allow them to do that, but we really should be giving the best of ourselves to the people who've put down their credit cards and said, yes, I want this. I believe in you. I believe in your program. Teach me. That's who we should be showing up for.
Right. Absolutely. So I think the system is gold. Obviously, I wouldn't be trying to model this very soon if I didn't think it was gold. But there's I think one of the reasons you have been so successful is because you have the messaging. Like, as the copywriter, the messaging behind it. Like, there are so many steps that we have to do, and every step is different messaging to go, you should watch this right now. You might be busy, but you should watch this. Like, we have to get them so compelled to say, I'm going to stop whatever it is I'm doing, whether it's scrolling or anything, to go, I'm going to take some time. Then you've got to get the messaging in the training to say, you should keep watching this, right? You should buy now. And then if they don't buy now, all the things. So is there anything, I mean, I know you've been doing this process now for a while. How have you made sure that you just kept getting it better and better and better? Were there certain like milestones or certain areas where you're like, oh, wow, we're doing this wrong, we need to switch this? Or does that make sense?
Yeah. You know what the thing is that there's always something to improve, right?
Yeah.
And the more you dig into it, but the cool thing is once you have your circuit set up, it's really easy to go in and then tweak, be like, right, we have this set up. Oh, hey, what if we change the wording here? And then, all right, so what if we sent 2 emails in this last day? Or what if we did this? You can go in, make a tweak, and then instantly see how it affects all the rest of it. You don't have to stop and go, oh, okay, we have to scrap this completely. We have to rebuild something. We just added in an automated challenge, which has all the like, rah, come back here and comment tomorrow with your wins, but it's all automated,
right?
It's,
and what you said before is, we do it on our time. So I'm like, oh, 11 a.m. Central works for me, so I'll see you there. But what if you live in London, or your kids, you pick up your kids from preschool at 11:30 and they just can't do it, right? So I love that it's about them and not about us. I think that's another big thing it's why it's doing so well too. So good. Now, as we roll into summer, people like to slow down. People like to take a little bit more time with their kids or whatever it is, or they don't like to slow down, but their business slows down, so they have free time. Okay. Exactly. To me, I have certain things we do in summer in both businesses. And to me, this feels like one of those things to build over summer, when maybe business is slow, or you don't have to show up at 11 o'clock on a certain day. You can do it at 5 a.m. before the kids wake up, and you want to get a little bit of work done that day, right? So even when you said like the refining, the tweaking, all of that, you get to do it on your own time. You don't have to meet the next deadline for when the next promotion is. You can decide, well, I'm free in 2 weeks, and that's when I'm going to really dig in and change those up. And that's like the cool part of all of this.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is too, is that you build your initial portion, and then you build your fast action portion, and you build your initial sales sequence. Yeah. And then you've got some time, because you've got, depending on how long you schedule it, you've got maybe 90 days until the next sequence starts. So if you build that out and you're like, I need a break for a little bit, I need to maybe watch some of these sales come in. Yeah. You've got a little bit of time until the next one, but you also have the flexibility to do other things. Like summer, it's slow for us too. Nobody wants to buy, at least for our consumer stuff, nobody wants to buy career stuff over the summer. We're still making money. But just, it's just naturally we're higher in January, a little bit lower in summer. But it's also still consistent. I can tell you that, because I know that's how it goes.
You know what happened last summer. You know exactly what you're going to be bringing in this summer. And that's the exciting. So when I say I slow down in summer, yes, but my business is still generating income. We're still running at a profit margin. Like, these are things where when people say like, oh, I'm slowing down in summer, I'm like, should you be slowing down in summer? Do you have the income to slow down in summer? What is this going to do to like your Q3, Q4? Like, have we thought this through? Right. So you've just got to be really, really careful when you're thinking like, oh, I heard everybody slows down. So am I. There was a lot of summers I didn't have the luxury of slowing down.
Yeah, no, I agree. I hear people say like, well, I got to figure something out because I don't have anything planned for June or July and August. And I think, oh my gosh, what do you mean you don't have anything planned? Right. What are you going to do? You know?
Okay. So moral of the story, every single person listening to this, you need to be figuring out, how do I get the potential to make money every day? Like that is like goal number one. If you don't even have that as an option, I want you focusing on what can I do to get the potential to do it. Okay. Goal number two is, once it's there, refining it until you truly are making sales every day. And I know for some business owners, that sounds like, whoa, is that possible? Like, can people make money every day? Yes. It's possible. So absolutely.
Possible. Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. So Nicki, if somebody said, I'm interested, I like that. Like, this sounds interesting to me. Where can they go check out your specific system? Like, where can they get more details online? Where can they find this? I want you to share everything, because you know me, like I don't share anything unless I fully trust and will use that product as well. And like, I'm all in. So I want my listeners to be able to hear this too.
Yeah. They can go to circuitsalessystem.com/Stacy. So we'll have access to some resources. They can learn more about it, some bonus stuff coming through just for this audience, because we love this audience. But we'll, there's only so much we can talk about in this. Yeah. This half hour. Yeah. So we'll be able to dig into it so much more and show you more of the numbers and show you how you can take this basic circuit and then customize it, but I think the thing I would really encourage is, you were talking about people talking about, oh, how could I do this for my business? Yeah. Is to really think a little bit bigger. Cause I know that some people are like, well, I could never do that because I have to do live because XYZ. Yeah. I would challenge you to examine whether or not something really does have to be live, or well, I have to do it because I can only start them because this cohort has to start at this period and they're together. Like, we have people enrolling all the time. And all that does is the success stories that students who are a little bit further ahead share encourage the people who just started. And so it's actually built a really great community, having people at different periods in their journey. Yeah.
I love it. And if any one of my clients is listening and you're like, I like it, I don't know how I would do this or what I would do, jump on one of my coaching calls and ask me, because this is one of the first things we teach in Powerhouse, is like recurring revenue and evergreen revenue. Like literally, it's the kickoff call to Powerhouse. So I'm just so excited, Nicki. I can't wait. I cannot wait to have people start to go through this and get the success that you're getting. We are so excited here at Foot Traffic to be working on this summer and get ours up and running. So thank you so much. So you said it was circuitsalessystem.com.
circuitsalessystem.com/Stacy.
Amazing. Nicki, thank you for being here. So excited.
Thank you.